positive from a regulatory perspective, right? And we can see that backed up when they just announced tonight, a couple hours ago, that there's going to be a new executive order that will overturn the Biden administration regulations restricting crypto banking activities. So this will be targeting specifically Operation Choke Point 2.0, and it should result in at least what the Alva app is saying in a greener regulatory landscape for crypto business. Which, or wait, is this the original one? I think this is the original one. Market confidence getting a fresh boost, inviting more investment, possible uptick in institutional participation, and Federal Reserve might need to rethink its digital asset stance and expect market sentiment to gear up. Now, the thing is everybody was expecting the crypto market to essentially get boosted after this, but as you guys can see, we're already below 80,000 US dollars on Bitcoin itself, with a stark decrease in price. And this is happening across the entire market, right? It doesn't matter if it's Solana, it doesn't matter if it's XRP. The only difference here that we really have to pay attention to when we're trying to determine if we are in basically still going to have a lasting bull run or if we're out, right? That's the question everybody has right now. And the good news, I'm going to give you it straight up because everybody wants to hop in. They see the title and they go, oh no, I got to watch a 1 hour, 2 hour show. No, you can just watch this part. Let me tell you what I'm thinking as far as this is concerned. There's a huge thing that hasn't happened yet. Okay. There's a huge thing that hasn't happened yet that's happened in every other previous cycle. And that is multiple cycle alternative cryptocurrencies hitting previous all-time highs. Ethereum has not hit a previous all-time high. You know, the big ones, the only ones that really have, the only one that did really that's notable is like Solana and Kaspa, and those are post. Those are single, this is their first cycle, right? So when we're looking at an actual bull run season, you would say that for the bull run to be completely over, you would expect at least one altcoin cycle to take place, and the altcoin cycle has not taken place. So that is good news, right? That means that we could expect to have a few more months. And if we look at the timeline, because everybody wants to start getting really, really dark right now, which has to happen, by the way, but everybody wants to get really dark and grim and say the bull run's over. No, it's not happening. Everything's over. It's the end of the world. Crypto's dead. Blah, blah, blah. Proof of work's dead. Mining's dead. Everything's dead. And the reality is, if we look at previous cycles, we still have 6 to 10 months left in that cycle, right? So the thing is that it appears to be significantly delayed. And that is really an interesting thing that's taking place, because by now we would have expected, at least on these previous all-time highs for Bitcoin, things to transfer over into altcoins, but that is not taking place. But there's reason for that, okay? And here's one of the primary reasons for that. The lightening of regulations surrounding cryptocurrency. My phone's blowing up here. Yeah. So the primary reason for this is actually that we've had lightening regulations surrounding cryptocurrency. And you saw here recently over the past quarter, right? What was happening is people are able to list these assets on their balance sheet. Okay. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago on the Crypto Mining Show. The importance to this is that what is happening is that these companies are now able to leverage the current holdings of Bitcoin. So previously what would happen is an institution or a whale in general, it could be a retail whale as well, to transfer into the altcoin market would have to sell their Bitcoin and then trade it for the altcoin. But now they can leverage the Bitcoin, take loans out on it, and then participate in the altcoin market. This creates obviously more volatility within the actual altcoin market and less volatility within Bitcoin, which is what we saw there. But now we're seeing that capitulation start to happen. And I think that as far as what we're looking at, I don't think that altcoin season is canceled. I don't think that the Bitcoin cycle is canceled. Now, I do still stand behind the idea that because of the sheer number of alternative cryptocurrencies, specifically in the form of tokens on Solana, I think that we will have less alternative cryptocurrencies be successful, right? Now, when we're looking at them, what are we looking for? Well, we're looking for use, specifically not just use case, because use case doesn't mean shit unless somebody is actually using it, right? So what has to happen? Well, you have to look at the actual amount of use on those blockchains as well. And we want to see previous cycle participation, right? So things like Ethereum, even though, right, we're not a big fan of proof of stake here on this channel, I think it will damage ultimately the highs that Ethereum can achieve in an altcoin cycle, but it does have use. It is being utilized. It has multiple cycles under its belt. It's going to have some sort of inflow into it. Things like XRP will, just because of the name behind it. Multiple cycle, once again, hasn't hit an all-time high. Things that are questionable to me right now is like Solana and Kaspa, because it is their first cycle. So I don't know what those will necessarily be at the end of the day, as an example, just because we don't have previous cycle data to really work with on those necessarily, right? But you could expect, at least some sort of breaking of their bear market highs, right? And I think that could take place in general. But here's the thing. Half of y'all aren't going to be here by the time it pumps up. Yes, we've already lost average viewership previously, 700 live viewers Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Central Standard Time here. And now we're streaming one time a week at 6 p.m. on Monday, and 130 people show up. So we've already lost a huge chunk of the amount of people that were watching. I mean, even all-time highs on this channel have been in the 7,000 to 10,000 live viewer range, right? This is obviously indicative of where we have to go at this point in the market. We hit that big low. We kind of pumped back up. We were getting like 300, 400 viewers. I look at the viewership because it is indicative. Like, you can line up my YouTube channel analytics and overlay the Bitcoin chart and they match up. Okay. So you can look at that. What I'm going to say here, though, is that a majority of people have to believe this is the end for us to move forward, which means I would expect drops in viewership, drops in interest, drops in Googling. A lot of people have to actually fully exit the market for it to start recovering again, because that's what happens in the cycle before things take off again. And that's really kind of what I'm sitting back and waiting and watching to see. How low does Bitcoin have to really go before you lose that next chunk of interest in the market? And once you lose that, well, then you get the big boys and the whales coming in to buy up a bunch of it at cheaper prices. Overall, like I said, one, still not counting the eggs before, or the chickens before they're hatched, but also in general, we're not over it yet, because we still, as far as the timeline go, have, another, it's 18 months from, what was it, last April? So we have another 6 months before you say everything's out, right? And yeah, more people are coming back into the space. And there's a ton more people. Unfortunately, it's all seems to be concentrated. And that's a very good point, Slice of Life, right? We're having kind of these initial people come in. A lot of that chunk, though, is within the Solana ecosystem, right? And so, but a lot of those people are getting forced out from bad purchasing decisions, all the normal stuff you see in these cycles, right? You're seeing the pump and dumps. You're seeing the people get screwed over. You're seeing pyramid schemes getting popularized by large content creators. You're seeing all that same stuff. Then you're seeing the people get hurt by it, the market reacting to it. This is all indicative of things I've seen, 3 times at this point, right? I've seen this over and over and over again. And that's why I'm not willing to just count the bull run out, right? And hopefully that also explains why we aren't seeing that altcoin. It made a lot of sense to me when I heard that analysis of like, okay, well, because there's more legitimacy within the blockchain space, specifically Bitcoin being able to be carried over on a balance sheet, etc., it means that we are not seeing the traditional go to the centralized exchange, sell the Bitcoin, buy altcoins, and so on. The other thing that happened that's extremely important that you guys need to pay attention to, go look at download numbers between Coinbase and Phantom Wallet. This is the first time we have ever seen a decentralized wallet take over downloads over a centralized exchange. Now, what does that actually mean? It means that people aren't looking at the same tired charts from the same cryptocurrencies that have been around for multiple cycles sitting around on Coinbase. They're no longer seeing that. They're no longer even going to CoinMarketCap. They literally are going to Phantom Wallet, opening that up, and that is specifically driving. Now, that's bad news for anybody that is, mining, older proof of work cryptocurrencies, because those coins aren't going to show up there, right? So that is something to take into account. That's a trend that's extremely important. We are not seeing the same trends we saw before. And that viewpoint that retail is getting is all driven through Phantom. It's no longer driven through Coinbase or crypto.com, etc. It's driven through the Phantom wallet. And that is a huge shift that's taken place. Now, hopefully what that means is essentially what you need to see from a layer 1 proof of work ASIC resistant cryptocurrency is they need to get, number one thing they need to do is get on Phantom. You need, Ergo needs to be on Phantom. I mean, great, cool, there's Nautilus Wallet. Nobody gives a shit about Nautilus Wallet. Nobody's downloading it. That's the reality, okay? These are the things you need to pay attention to. I mean, even MetaMask is nowhere close, right? You need these integrations that are going to put you at the front of the App Store. That's the thing you need to pay attention to. That's just the way it is, dude. I hope you enjoyed this clip from the Crypto Mining Show. If you would like to see more from this particular episode, take a look up here. Don't forget to also subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support me directly, you can go to sonofatech.locals.com and become a member. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next Tuesday.